Let's start off with box number 19. So we're going to be transforming our quadratic equations, which means moving them up, down, left, right, flipping them around, stretching them, squeezing them. So that's essentially what we're doing. A translation for box number 19, that is when you slide it. So you move it up, down, left, right. So for horizontal translations, that's this part. That's going to happen inside the parentheses with the x. So x values kind of tell you the left-right direction, right? When you have an x value, that's the left-right direction. So then the number that's next to your x inside the parentheses, that's going to be your horizontal translation. So since it says x minus h, if h is a number bigger than 0, that means it says x minus a number, then it's going to move it to the right. If it says x plus a number, meaning that your h was less than 0, so you're subtracting a negative, which means you're going to add it. So if it says x plus h, that's going to be moving it to the left. So if it says x minus a number, that's to the right. If it says x plus a number, that's to the left, which I know is like a little bit opposite of what you think normally. So remember that h is the opposite of what you would think is normal. So if it says x minus h, or x minus a number, you're moving to the right. If it says x plus a number, you're moving to the left. And I encourage you to write that down. Like, I know this part, this isn't on your notes. I encourage you to write that down because I think that will help you. So that's why I wrote it there. Okay. Okay, so that's horizontal. That means you're moving left and right. There's also vertical translation. So that's moving up and down. So this is a vertical translation. That's going to happen with this k value. So this one, oops. There we go, whatever. This is your k value. This one says if k is positive, you're going to move it up. So that means you're going to say plus a number at the end. If it says plus a number, it goes up. If it says minus a number, then it goes down. So k is not the opposite, okay? So this one, it will likely make more sense in your head. So this one's not the opposite. And just in case you're wondering why that is, it's because right now k is separated from your y, like literally k is on the other side of the equation as y is. If you were to bring k to the same side as y, you would subtract it over, and then it would still be the, then since it would be with the y, then it's the opposite. But since it's on the other side, k is not the opposite, okay? We kind of talked about that briefly last time in one of the notes, but I'm not going to go in detail here. So hopefully you got this down. And then there's different notations on the bottom over here. We will get into that later. So that's translations. That moves it up, down, left, right. Let's go to reflections in box number 20. Reflection is where you flip the picture around. So if your a is a negative number, then you're going to get a vertical reflection. So that's this number. If it's a negative, if it has the opposite sign, which is a negative, then it's a vertical reflection, which means if this is your original, it's going to flip around to become that. Okay, and then if you have a negative in front of the x, so like right here, if that's a negative, then you have a horizontal reflection. So that's like, let me think of a different picture. That's like if you have this graph, and then you flip it around horizontally, it will look like that. Okay, so it just flips it around the other way, like a mirror image. This is a reflection. And then, of course, we have the notations on the bottom, but we'll get into that later on. I guess I could draw a dividing line. So the stuff on the left side, that's all the green stuff. All of this is only for the vertical reflection. Okay, so that's why it's written on the left side. And then all the stuff on the right side, this is all the stuff for horizontal reflection. Okay, so that's why this one has so many, is because we talk about the vertical and also the horizontal. Okay, so that's reflections. And then we also have Dilation. So dilation is like stretching it or squeezing it. So it's a size change. And so that is going to be over here. What color did I use? It's also the A value. So if your A value is, if its absolute value is bigger than 1, then you're going to have a narrower, steeper graph. So that means if you see your original graph over here, it becomes narrower, also known as steeper. So it gets squished that way. And then if A is less than 1, then you have a shorter, wider graph. And that means if it looked like that, then it ends up being wider, like that. Okay, so you can draw pictures here if that helps you. Yep, okay, so that's that part. And then we have notations on the bottom, but we'll get into that later on. So are there any questions for any of these 3 boxes of notes, 19, 20, or 21? And we'll go on to the skills practice now.